Hi there guys, welcome back to From the Ash. It's really good to have you here for another video. Now I don't know what your lockdown TV viewing of choice was. It may have been Tiger King, everyone was obsessed with that for a little while. I used my lockdown to pick up a show that I'd actually never seen before somehow, and that show, as you'll know from the title of this video, was of course Gavin and Stacey. Somehow I'd grown up having not seen a single moment of Gavin and Stacey, but when the lockdown of 2020 happened in March, I decided it was the perfect time to get into the show, give it a watch, and oh my goodness was I blown away. One of the best programs I've ever seen, absolutely hilarious, brilliantly written, well cast, well acted, emotional in the right places. You know, for me to watch a comedy or a sitcom, it has to be funny of course, but it has to pull on your heartstrings a little bit in the right places too. Gavin and Stacey does that. Of course most of it was filmed in Wales. Cardiff is only, what is it, an hour and a bit from where I live here in Gloucester, and Barry only a little bit further than that. So I thought, might as well take a few day trips down there, check out some of the filming locations from the show, see what they're like today, see if they're the same, or if they've changed, or if they're even there anymore. I'm gonna be heading today to Wales. I'm not going into Barry today. I'm gonna be doing some of the locations that are slightly outside of Cardiff. This is the first video in this series. There will be a few videos on this sort of topic, so do subscribe to the channel if you want to see some future content, and give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. That always really helps the channel grow. Let's head to Wales. Let's find where Gavin and Stacey was filmed. Let's go. And here we are guys, I've arrived in sunny Wales via a beautiful drive in the Wye Valley in the Forest of Dean, and I'm here now in Wales at St Mellon's Country Club. I didn't know there was a St Mellon, but apparently there is, and it's here in the form of a country club. This right here is a very famous Gavin and Stacey location because this is where Pete and Dawn renew their vows, and where I'm stood right here is actually where Mick and Pete try to get to grips with the lyrical complexities of Fix You by Coldplay. Lights will guide you home. Absolutely beautiful country club, very nice, lovely gardens here, but like I say, this is where a lot of the main cast of Gavin and Stacey stand outside talking about why they've even been invited to Pete and Dawn's renewal, given that they don't know them very well. It's about 10-15 minutes drive outside Cardiff, just off the M4, quite easy to find, although you have to come down a very long driveway to get here. Well, that was kind of cool. One of the receptionists at it's a country club, or it's a wedding venue now, she said. She saw me, the receptionist, outside with my camera, and she said, "Oh, are you okay? Can I help with anything?" And I said, "Oh yeah, did you film Gavin and Stacey here?" And she told me a bit about when they filmed it and whatnot, and she actually let me go in and have a look at the room where Pete and Dawn renewed their vows. I was only able to pop in there quickly because they had some people coming in to set up for another wedding later today. That's number one ticked off the list. Let's see what else Wales has got to offer today. And Wales definitely is delivering so far, because the next location was only a couple of minutes up the road. I'm at Cardiff Service Station, and Gavin and Stacey actually filmed here quite a few times, and right behind me here where my finger is where in the episode where Nessa and Dave get married, or almost get married, this is where Smithy comes, played of course by James Corden, to collect his son Neil from Nessa, and Bryn is also here, and Gavin is also here as well. But it's quite an emotional scene, and it's filmed just here in the car park. But there's also a few more things that were filmed here. One of them's inside and one of them's over by the entrance, so let me show you those as well. So that scene was filmed over there, but if you pan across this way, you can see the main entrance to the service station, and just up through here in the first Christmas special, Gavin is singing Band-Aid with Smithy when he walks out of this entrance, much as these two men are doing here. He walks out and he walks through the car park just up through here, singing Band-Aid on the phone with Smithy. It's kind of an early form of carpool karaoke, so you could technically say carpool karaoke was born here at Cardiff Services. One thing was filmed inside, and that was also in the same episode. It's where Dave wants to take a break from his driving, so he pops in to have a go on a driving game. I'm going to go and see if that's still there. For all I know, that's all been taken out, that sort of gaming section, but let's go and have a look. Here's where Dave stops for a break from the driving. Sadly, no massage chairs outside anymore, and no driving machine. It's all change here. Right, Cardiff Services done. let's move on to the next location. This is Caxton Place. I'm actually in a little car park, as you can see right here. And this is a Gavin and Stacey location that's very famous, but would easily be missed as well, because it is just on a, you know, in like an industrial estate in a car park. So it's nothing special, but a very famous Gavin and Stacey scene takes place right here. Smithy drives his car around this corner while he's singing Band-Aid to Gavin on the phone. We've already been where Gavin was. This is where Smithy was in his car, waiting at that junction just there to pull out. I think he's stuck behind some red car that's taken ages to pull out, and he starts yelling expletives. Smithy literally drives in round this corner and comes to this junction here where this van is, and this is where he gets stuck behind somebody waiting to pull out while he's singing Band-Aid at the top of his voice. Let a smile of joy, throw your arms around the world. Come on, just go, mate! I did notice actually in the episode that on the wall here in the episode is a sign saying that these are new build homes. And as you can see now, they're definitely not new builds anymore. So it's just funny how things change. The houses are there, but when it was filmed, these were brand new. I'm guessing Lidl wasn't here at the time either, but it certainly is now. But there we go, another Gavin and Stacey location ticked off the list. And about 10 minutes drive away from that location is another one. They're all quite close together. Gavin and Stacey was filmed in a very close area in the sort of, you know, on the edge of Cardiff. A lot of the locations are, and this is another one. This is Manor Park Country Hotel, and this is where Gavin and Stacey's wedding reception takes place. I don't know if you recognise this door. I knew I was in the right place when I saw this door, because this is where Nessa tells Stacey that she is pregnant with Neil, the baby. I couldn't film it very well because there was a man painting literally right next to it, so it was a little bit awkward, but I got a quick shot of it there. Right here is where Gavin and Stacey stand with their family and close friends and have their wedding photos taken, and Smithy and Nessa have to stand here together and have a very awkward conversation about their night together. This terrace right here is also where Bryn comes out during Gavin and Stacey's wedding reception and has a conversation with Jason out here, and he refers to Gavin and Stacey's wedding day as the best day of his life. As you can see, this backdrop of the garden here looks very different now. It's certainly been very modernised, and also just over there, just over the other side of that fence, is the M4, so you get quite a lot of noise here. It's not quite as tranquil as it appears in the episode itself. And once again, I didn't have far to go for this next one. I'm outside 10 Pin, which is just over there. 10 Pin bowling, right on the edge of Cardiff, and this is of course where Smithy and Nessa, Gavin and Stacey do a little double date. It doesn't end particularly well. Gavin and Stacey end up having quite a big row, which does spill out into the car park just over here. I'll show you the spot in a second, but it is of course a normal bowling alley that you can go and visit, so let's go and have a look inside. Here we go, the lane they used is actually free. I'm sitting on it right now, so here it is. This is lane number 17, as used in Gavin and Stacey. One of my funniest bits of Nessa is she stood right here, shining her ball up. That bit always makes me laugh when she gets her big like bed sheet out and starts shining her up. He takes bowling very seriously. I can't do a Nessa impression, but you remember the scene. That was right here, lane 17 at 10 Pin on the edge of Cardiff. With this one, of course, with it being a bowling alley, you can just wander in, have a go on some of the arcade games, or even have a game of bowling on lane number 17 if you fancy. But this is a pretty easy one to find, so come and check it out and have fun when you're here as well. Why not? Gavin and Stacey and Smithy and Nessa actually come out of here and end up having an argument just about here in the car park. And that is where the debate begins as to whether or not they're off to get a KFC. What is this guy doing? He's climbing on some bike racks. He's making his own fun. You can see this tree in shot, and this tree is actually very, very small in the episode. Again, just shows the kind of passing of time. You know, this was filmed about 12 years ago, so things have really changed a lot over time. And, you know, it's cool to see that some of what we remember from the show is still there, even if it has changed slightly. And as I said earlier in the video, you know, these are just normal places. You know, they're industrial estates and hotels and, you know, houses and different things that are just very, very normal. But that's why I like doing these videos, because actually you could walk past these places and not even know that they're sort of part of TV history. But it's important to remember these things, you know, particularly with a show as good as Gavin and Stacey. So I'm enjoying today. I'm enjoying having a look around. I'm getting a lot of very strange looks, you know, and people see me cracking out out my camera in front of a bowling alley and an old hotel, but you know, it's all worth it. I hope you're enjoying the video. Let's move on to the next location. Right, I've just arrived at the next location. This is Vale Resort, which again is just outside Cardiff. It looks like it's just a really huge and posh hotel, but this is where in season 1 the whole gang comes for the famous wedding fair, featuring a cameo from Matt Lucas, of course, as well. I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to go inside. We'll go and have a look and see what we can find. Right here at the front of the resort is where they all meet up and give each other a hug and whatnot. And I think the fancy car that Gavin wants but Stacey doesn't, and Mick tries to persuade him to get, is parked about here, perhaps next to this pillar here. And I think this is where Smithy and Nessa go to give each other a hug or, you know, a handshake or whatever, but Smithy sort of shuns her and they wander off inside here. So I wasn't able to go to many areas in the hotel, but I did find what I think was a corridor that was featured in the episode. I think some of the characters came out of a doorway that was in shot there when they were leaving the wedding fair. I did ask the receptionist at the hotel to kind of point me in the right direction of like areas that I could see from the show, and she did not know that Gavin and Stacey had been filmed there. She said, "Oh no, I don't think it was filmed here. It was filmed in Barry, I think." And I said, "Yeah, but you definitely had some scenes filmed here, I think." And she said, no, it wasn't filmed here. But receptionist, you were wrong. It definitely was filmed at your establishment. Got a couple more Gavin and Stacey locations to find in this video as well, so let's get back on it. And just behind me is the next Gavin and Stacey location. This one took about 10 minutes to get to, but this one's quite famous. You probably would recognize it already, actually. This location is used in 2 Gavin and Stacey episodes, both of which are quite notable. First of all, it's used as the location for baby Neil's christening, and secondly, it's used as the location for Dave and Nessa's failed attempt at getting married. Now, with it being a church, the doors are open, so we can go inside and have a look and see if it's changed at all. So let's go inside and have a little look. Silence the pianos, and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. This is hilarious, look at this. Why not get married here at the Gavin and Stacey church or renew your vows? And there they are, there is Dave Coaches and Nessa. And this is the church where it all happened. I'm actually inside. So cool to be allowed in here. Obviously with it being a church, most churches are open for sort of private reflection and prayer and whatnot. In this case, it's open for a Gavin and Stacey vlog. I'm very grateful to be allowed in here. Obviously back there you can see the door behind me where Smithy and baby Neil sort of burst in through that door. Probably stood, I would say Smithy stood about here where I'm stood now, when he gives his speech about him and Nessa having those moments that sort of make their relationship so special. I think Gavin and Stacey are sitting over here in the episode. This church is also used for Neil the baby's christening, where Bryn stands about here and gives his beautiful rendition of Something Inside So Strong, with Doris on the drums back there somewhere as well. It's so rare that you get access to what is basically a sort of TV set, and it's barely changed. With it being a, you know, an active church, you know, that people come to on a Sunday and throughout the week for prayer and worship, it's very similar to how it was when Gavin and Stacey filmed here around 12, 13 years ago. It's crazy. I love the bit when Nessa walks down the aisle with her dad, and she sort of walks and she puts it, I'm just going from A to B, that's all. And she walks down, that's a Scouse accent, that was awful. But you remember the bit I'm talking about, when she walks down this very aisle to Angry Anderson Suddenly. I just realised actually, I showed you this already, the sort of Gavin and Stacey sign that they've got, and it's on the font around which baby Neil was actually christened. Now, just over here is where Dave and Nessa walk on the day of Neil's christening with baby Neil in their arms, and they have a conversation about here with Nessa's father, who they haven't seen in years. There was a big bush here, but I think it's been taken out because he was hiding around some of these graves here. That bit always makes me laugh. And he sort of comes over here and they have a chat just outside the door of the church right here. You'll recognise this spot as well as the spot where Nessa on her wedding day pulls up, sat in the back of a trailer, driven by her dad with Stacey, and that's their way of getting to the church, in the back of a trailer. For some reason she wanted that. She said she was going to do it in style. This is a really cool location. Like, it's just in the middle of the Welsh hills, really peaceful, really quiet. So if you want to come somewhere that's sort of, you know, different to a lot of the other locations that we've been to, there's nothing here. There's a lovely kids playground over there, so if you've got kids with you, you could take them to the playground, have a little picnic in the Welsh Hills and take in some Gavin and Stacey locations at the same time. It's all here. But honestly, this is my favourite location so far, partly because you're allowed to just go in and, you know, potter around and have a look. I love it when, you know, things like that are available, because often, like some of the locations I've been to today, you're not really allowed to go in sort of the function rooms or different things unless you book them. But with this, it's a church, and as long as you're respectful, as I've said many times, you can go and have a look. I've come to Culverhouse Cross M&S, which is where Stacey works. Smithy comes here in the Christmas special, the first Christmas special they made, to borrow Stacey's discount. I think he wants to get a Christmas present for someone in his family that he refers to as Jackie Collins. So Smithy comes up to the shop from just over this way, where Stacey is right here, fitting this very window, and then Smithy sort of starts larking about in front of the window to make Stacey laugh. She's just stood in here, but yeah, this is where it all happens, and then they head in through the door and go and get some Christmas presents. All of this looks pretty much the same. The doors are the same, this area is all the same, this is the same. It's not really changed. It's pretty similar to when they filmed here. But in Culverhouse Cross there is one more Gavin and Stacey location that conveniently coincides with lunchtime, so let's go and check that one out together.
Hi, Burger King, how can I help you, please?
Hello, could I have the cheesy bacon double meal, please? Burger King, of course, where Smithy's sister Rudy works. I'm actually approaching the window that features in Gavin and Stacey. You're about to see it. Here we go. Thank you. It's in a couple of episodes, I can't quite remember which ones. I think Rudy, played by Sheridan Smith, climbs out of one of these windows in one of the episodes. I've been asked to park up for my food, so I'm going to sit here and wait for my lunch to arrive. Might recognise this door. Uncle Bryn unlocks this door while he's talking to Jean on the phone. I think she's being quite rude to him at the time, but this is of course where Uncle Bryn organises Gwen's surprise barn dance, which is right here. The exterior was used, as was the interior. I can't go in because the village hall is locked. I did knock to see if they would let me in, but there appears to be nobody home today, so I can't go inside, but this is the outside anyway. All Saints Hall. I think this is where Smithy and Gavin are outside having a cigarette when Bryn comes from in there and tells them off for being outside and sort of ushers them back in. I think that was here. And I also think that Gavin and Stacey had a bit of a argument here because Gavin ignored Stacey's brother Jason, so I think that all happened here. So there you go, a little bit of stuff was filmed out here as well. Obviously most of it was inside, but we can't go in. And here we are, last but not least, I've driven all the way to beautiful Billericay for you for the final location. Of course, I haven't actually driven to Billericay in Essex because Gavin and Stacey was not filmed in Billericay at all. I'm here in Dinas Powys, I think I pronounced that right, to show you the last location in this video, and that is, of course, Pam and Mick's house, which is just round the corner here. I'm just approaching it now and I'm just going to show you it. It's one of the most famous Gavin and Stacey locations that there actually is. They used the interior and the exterior of the house, which is someone's actual house. So obviously I can't go in and I'm not going to get too many shots of the outside because it is a neighbourhood where people live, so I don't want to disrupt too much. But I'm sure if you come and you're polite and you're respectful, you can take your photos and have a little look, and that is what I'm going to do right now. So let's go and see Pam and Mick's house.
There it is, Pam and Mick's house from Gavin and Stacey. Really cool to see this in the flesh. Quite a few things happen in this driveway, lots of conversations. I think this is where Bryn cracks out his "My niece went to Greece" t-shirt. I think he cracks that out here on the driveway, and remember Gwen and Stacey have a heart-to-heart over here, and obviously at the front door over there is where a lot of the sort of robot dancing goes on, and some of the step into Christmas and all of that all happens right here. So cool to see this location. So rather than heading home to say goodbye, I can say goodbye here in front of Pam and Mick's house. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the Barry video that is going to be coming up really soon. I haven't filmed it yet, but I'm going soon to Barry, which is actually just up the road from here, but I haven't got enough time to go there today, so I'm going to have to come back. So subscribe for that video and for all the other content I've got coming up on From the Ash, and I'll see you soon for another video. Take care. Bye bye.